Always fingers crossed.
Always fingers crossed. I think it tells me in Zoom. Oh, yeah, got it. We are away. Awesome. So, welcome along. I believe everything is working where it's supposed to be working, and hopefully someone will tell me if it's not. So lovely to have you all here. I'm super excited today because I get to share with you one of my business team, because as you know, I don't have a massive lot of employees, but I do have a whole lot of amazing people on my business team, and Dre is one of them. We met mutually through our own business coach, and then happened to work out that we lived about half an hour from each other, and so we've connected in real life too. So I'm going to let Dre introduce himself, but he's basically my Facebook ads secret weapon. We use him in both The Rock and in Sarah Greener coaching, and he makes my life so much easier. So I'm going to share him with all of you, and hopefully you can grab some insights from him on what you guys can be doing to really leverage the Facebook advertising machine, because it is a great place to drive business in 2021, especially when we're stuck at home. Right?
Absolutely.
Over to you, Dre. Tell us a bit about you, where you're from.
Cool. Hey guys. I grew up on the Hibiscus Coast, and then had left New Zealand for 11 years, like went overseas to do stuff before coming back. So basically last 7 years until 2016, we were living in Asia. So me and Sarah have got that in common too. And so basically my journey on this whole digital entrepreneurship started back in 2007, when I used to be a cancer research scientist who was getting really pissed off with being pushed so hard at my job and having to play with dangerous viruses and do all this crazy stuff and use dodgy chemicals and literally rely on other people to keep me safe. So I started to get to the point going, okay, there's got to be a better way. So back in 2007, my wife dragged me off to a couple of internet seminars. So this was like in the heyday of the internet, and kind of sitting through and hearing what people were saying about the internet. And then there was a couple that really resonated with us. And they were teaching people how to research an empty niche and build an information product and then launch a website and start advertising on Google. So this is long before Facebook. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. So we decided to go for it. And basically I ended up creating some ebooks around saltwater aquariums. So that is like like Nemo, corals kept in a tank. They're really big in the USA and Australia. And so basically I learned how to research that niche, saw it didn't have any information products. So I started creating my own ebooks and selling them there. So basically I started selling ebooks in 2007 for $39 US. And I still basically have almost the same website, and it's costing me about $8 to sell each ebook for $37. So that was kind of like the start of the process. And then one day back in 2011, when I was in Asia, stuck in third world Laos, Google had an algorithm update and literally shut my account down overnight. And this is when Google had the digital ads monopoly, and we couldn't do anything to get it back. Me or my Google guy, who I still use, could not get back into the account. So he's like, well, Dre, you're going to have to start learning how to use Facebook. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to have to learn pretty fast because I'm stuck overseas with my income dried up overnight after quitting my job before that. So basically Facebook. Facebook is now, as you all know, the biggest social media platform. It's kind of been damaged a wee bit with the Apple iOS 14 updates that have just happened, that have kind of essentially leveled the playing field and got rid of all the noise and stuff like that. And a lot of people have had kind of problems making ads work since then. And so I kind of say it's kind of back to the old wild western days of internet marketing, where basically your message and your sales copy and everything has got to be really good to make it work. So at the moment, lots of noise has dropped out of the market. So it's a really good opportunity for all of you guys to put all your stuff out there. But it's kind of changed in the way that what you put out there. So now it's kind of got to be about stories behind the businesses, some stuff of you, some really cool backstory, really cool messaging and kind of emotions and stuff coming across and all these things, and just try to be super authentic. So I think these days people are much more concerned with the people behind the businesses and sometimes even the businesses themselves. So as long as you're kind of going to market with really cool creators, like cool pictures and videos and stuff like that, and some really well thought out sales copy that's all benefit forward. So basically tell people why they should choose you, then you should do pretty well. So with Apple, what we have to do now is kind of like rely on website tracking a little bit less, but capture all these people as like leads or messenger leads or email contacts and bring them into our own businesses like that. So if you're a coach or a consultant or an e-commerce business, you should have some sort of lead generation strategy going on. So you're bringing these people to you, they're an asset of your business, and then you can email them as well as showing them the right ads in the right funnel.
Really important. So Rachel, who I spoke to last week, just posted today. So she interviewed this guy on her podcast 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he has built a following of 175,000 people on Instagram.
Awesome. And
yesterday he got deleted. And I didn't get my page and stuff didn't get deleted, but during last lockdown, my coaching business, all my ads got shut down more than once. We had problems with it, right? Yeah. And so that, I think we've always done it in the rock because we've been around for so long, like we're that old. The business is 14 years. So we've always collected people's emails and owned it in our database and owned it on our website. But I think I see now people building businesses without owning that information, and they are at the risk of Facebook, Instagram, whoever it is, deleting their entire business and having no backup plan.
Yeah, exactly right. So it's super important to do that. So as Sarah said, like she her business manager got sort of like disabled through no fault of her own. It was just the algorithm doing kind of funny things, and so we literally had to rebuild all her assets. So it's really important to make sure you're taking all your business assets and bringing them across as email leads, but B, like setting everything up right within Facebook to make sure you don't get flagged in some way. Because once you get flagged, it's easy to get like ads that get rejected, and then your account gets paused and stuff like that. So I think I'll start with you guys, basically just talking you through like the right way to have your business manager set up and the right way to have your ad account set up to start.
Awesome. And just so you all know, I am recording this because like I always do when I'm going through something that I know really well, and Dre's a bit the same, we go a bit fast.
I go fast, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're watching this and going, holy shit, I'm never going to keep up, that's all good. I'm recording it. You can watch it back later.
Yeah. And guys, don't be afraid to say, hey, Dre, slow down. Because I like to go fast because there's so much going on. Anyway, so I'm just going to share screens with you guys and show you the right
questions.
way to,
just jump in. So type it in the chat box, jump in, unmute yourself, jump in, ask questions. I'm watching the Facebook group. So if you're watching us either on any of my Facebook groups or on my profile or on my page, just type a question and I'm happy to ask it to Dre for you.
Yeah. Hey, Patrick. Nice to see you, buddy. Okay. Right. So just hiding this annoying floating meeting controls. Okay, so this is my ads manager, business manager. So this is like the central piece within your ads manager. So basically under here, like in your Facebook business settings, you should have your domain, your pixel, your Facebook page, and your ad account all housed under this. So business manager is the key. So coming right down to the bottom, so into the business info, just always make sure that it's set up as legitimately as possible, because Facebook is looking at all this information. And then if you set it up all correctly with your business name and website and stuff like that, then you can actually go through the verification process. So once you get verified, you have a lot less issues with Facebook accidentally rejecting anything or something like that. And because I've got probably about 100 different client assets and ad accounts on this, I have to be super careful as well. So basically have all this filled out with your business details, business name up here. And then if you can verify that through Facebook, and then you get rewarded with things like 10 ad account creation limit if you want, which you probably don't need, but I do actually. So pretty much everything else comes back to the security center. So just jump in here and have a check too. So basically, one of the main things Facebook wants you to do is add like another business admin in there. So if something happens with your own Facebook profile, then you can still access your business manager through someone else's profile. So make it your partner, potentially like a child you trust, or someone that you can actually really trust. Because, for example, one of my naughty clients last year added me personally as an admin onto their Facebook page. And so he was being naughty and making all these new Facebook profiles for his business. So for example, Dave at, what was his business called? Something or other design. And so Facebook took offense at that. He got flagged and I was guilty by association because he had me as admin onto his Facebook page. So literally anyone you add to anything, it comes back to this Facebook manager, okay? So this business manager is the home for everyone. And so then there's me and there's my wife who's admin. We're both admins. We have the shields. And then, for example, a third person who comes in and I can just add them to different things individually. But for example, if I was going, okay, I'm going to give Ray access to a new asset, I'd literally come in here, jump on add assets, go to pages, for example, choose that, come down here, give him whatever access he should get, and then save changes. So anyone who works on your business, have them in here too, invite them in, add their email address, and get them to accept that, and then you add assets or take them away to them through here, okay? So don't add anyone onto the back end of your ad account, don't add anyone onto your page, do it all within Business Manager to keep Facebook happy, right? Because that is the best way to do it. And then you own the assets, are all yours, but you're giving other people access to those assets, and that's super important.
So this is like this one. I just want to really ram this one home. If you're working with a digital agency of some way, shape, or form, you need to own it, not them. So I hear all sorts of horror stories with small businesses where they have had a digital agency of some description, or someone do their Facebook ads for them, or their Facebook page, or set it up for them, and then not give them access to it.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's
so
really bad. It's so important. You need to own your assets, because also, guys, like as we said before, getting all these emails off Facebook and into your business, this is all business assets. Like setting this stuff up right means that if you eventually decide to sell your business, like you sell all these assets that you've built up. And so your ad manager should be yours. Your pixel should be yours. Your domain should be verified by you. Your page should be owned by you. And if it's not, potentially talk to Facebook and get ownership transferred to you, because back in the days of old, it was kind of a bit like the Wild West. And so get all that stuff back to you, or create new assets that are owned by you and your business. It's very important. So also what's really changed at the moment with the Apple updates is the fact that you actually have to have a domain in here. So I've got all domains with people that have partnered with me. And so basically you enter your domain in here. So one of my domains is called Saltwater Cream Advice. And then you literally enter it in here and then you try to verify it. So I'll just show you what the verification process looks like. So
sorry, when you say domains, are you talking website domains?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Your website domain. Yeah. Sorry. Cool. Thank you.
That's all right. Just the difference between Facebook and websites, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So now basically Facebook wants your domain that you advertise from to be verified in here. And that's one of their ways of getting past like the Apple updates.
Mm.
So it's all very complicated now. So Saltwater Cream Advice Academy.com. So enter your domain in here like this, click add. That's helpful.
Do it again.
So, yeah, exactly.
And repeat.
Yeah. Okay. So add it in there. Okay, there it is. And see, it'll tell you, it's come up here, that's a legitimate domain and it's not verified. So there's 3 different ways to verify. The easiest one is to add a meta tag to your HTML source code, which literally you just copy this and paste it onto the web page. But there's lots of different ways. The other most popular one is update the DNS TXT record with your domain register. Anyway, so you go through this process, follow these instructions here or send them to your developer, and then you click on verify domain. So just to go back to a domain that I'm using as an example, this one. So I've actually verified that. And so once it's done, you click verify on here and it will say verified, which means it's basically ready for traffic and ready to advertise to. And once your domain's in here, it basically means that Facebook will do the best to get your ads to your domain, irrespective of whether people are on Apple iOS 14 or whatever. So it's just another hurdle to jump through to be good at advertising these days. So then basically you'll go across into your events manager. So the other thing you need to have when you've got a domain up here is a pixel. So your Facebook pixel is super important. So that comes under data sources. And so I'll just show you the pixel that is hooked up to that. So that's my saltwater cream advice pixel. So I've added myself to it. And then you can also add other assets to it if needed. Yeah, so add accounts. So the add account I'm adding to that is saltwater cream advice add account. So basically you associate the pixel with the domain associated with the ad account, and then that's done. Okay, so this is the pixel, and that's running off that domain, that saltwater cream advice domain. And so now I'm going to show you how to set up aggregated event measurement, which is literally the most important way to get past Apple updates and have your ads seen by Apple people. Okay, so we open the pixel and then we come to the pixel page. So just ignore these little error messages here. That's what I'm getting with all my pixels at the moment. But the most important thing is that you can see that your pixel's actually been followed and you're getting traffic, albeit not much because I'm not actually advertising this at the moment. Okay, so always just every couple of weeks jump into your pixel and just have a look that the page view has fired. Anything else has fired as well. Just make sure that it's actually working. And so the most important thing here is to set up aggregated event measurement. So when you run Facebook ads to a website and you want to track conversions or registrations or logins and stuff like that, often you need to make up what's called a custom conversion. So I'll just show you what that looks like. So jumping into my custom conversions here. So this basically allows you to create a custom conversion, which basically says that anyone who's reached whatever page is counted as a specific conversion. So let me just show you what this looks like. Just want to find a particular custom conversion that's relevant to this. Okay, so for example, e-commerce code free registration. So this is for a lead magnet that I've got set up. And so it tracks anyone who reaches the thank you page. Okay, so after the purchase is made or after the opt-in is done, they go to a thank you page. So that's really important because then you track people who've reached that thank you page and that's counted as a conversion. So for example, let me just show you what this looks like. So that's the thank you page. So basically, if someone comes to, I'll see if I can remember the landing page. Yeah, so if someone comes to here, which is my lead magnet page, then they literally opt in, get the book, and then the thank you page is this. So after they've opted in, given me their name and their details, they get into here. And so your thank you page has another thing that you ask them to do. But most importantly, it's like tracking the conversion. And so the way that you can test that is by having Facebook Pixel Helper installed onto your website. And then every time you come onto a website, you can just click on that and see that you've got your pixel there and it's tracking. Okay, so that was a bit of a segue to show you how that works. And so back in here, now that we've got this custom conversion set up, so then we have to add it to our aggregated events measurement. So if I go back to data sources and I choose the right business, which is going to be, oh, that's right, yep. So then we come back to the events page and click on aggregated event measurement. and manage events. So you want to click on that. And then within here, you find your domain. So the example I had originally was saltwatercreamadvice.com. So I can jump in there, I'm gonna manage events. So that custom conversion, whatever I've named it, will come up in here. So that's my top event here, because that's like plotting a sale. So you literally choose it by like going add event. Let me just show you. So you can choose it to be straight from the pixel or from a custom conversion. But if I go custom conversion, choose an event, there it is there. So literally it's in here and you drag it based on priority. Making ads work since then. Yep. Okay. And so literally that most important event gets to be the top priority. And what that means is basically if there's any chance of anyone firing this off, no matter whether they're Apple or Samsung or Google or whatever, this is going to be it. And then at the end, you just go submit and save that. Whoops. That's failed to load. Anyway, so that's how we do it. And then literally you jump into the ad account. I'll just show you guys quickly as well. And I'll show you how you create that custom conversion in a new campaign so you can actually be tracking these results. So just be a quick. Too many ad accounts, there we go. So I imagine most of you have got like all sorts of errors in your ad accounts at the moment, which is pretty annoying, but you can kind of just go through and manually address those things and get it reset. Okay, so columns, performance, and clicks always, because that just gives the best oversight of what's going on. Okay, so I want to create some ads that are conversions. So this is for conversion campaigns, guys. This is for sending people to a web opt-in or like a book call or anything like that. So conversion campaigns are pretty important to see exactly how much it's costing per action. Okay, and so this is going to be SSS sales. So that's actually stands for Saltwater Success System. $100 a day US, hell yeah. Okay, so this ad set level is where you have your audience. So for example, people interested in reef tanks. That's my saltwater cream example. Here we go. So that's through my website because I'm looking for a sale. And then you select your conversion event. So my conversion event is here. Okay. So that's my conversion event, and it's saying it's not active. And it's only saying it's not active is because I haven't run ads for this for a while. And then you publish and go from there. So that's literally how you set up a custom conversion, add it to your aggregated events measurement that's on your domain, and then set up ads for it. Are you guys confused?
Go really quick. So I've got one question from Rena. Yeah. So she's saying, I'm still confused what an event is. Is it the end location of where your visitors ended up?
Correct. Yeah. So it's the final point. Yeah. So to start with, if we're doing an ad, like for example, to an ebook or something, there's a landing page, and that's where you're driving people to first. It's like, hey, here's my ebook, and like the sales letter and stuff like that. So the custom conversion is based off that final point. So someone comes to that landing page, they opt in, then what we call a thank you page opens. And so that people can only get to that page if they've taken the action you want. So if people have reached that page, then you go, yep, that's a completed conversion. That's like an opt-in or whatever. So you name your custom conversion accordingly, and that's how you do it.
Yeah, Mel, I agree. When you first start doing all of this stuff, it is exploding head shit. The more you go in and use it, the more you understand it, the better. My advice to all my clients is do not hand this stuff off to someone else until you've got your head around the basics, because otherwise they will fool you. If you're lucky enough to find someone super honest and with the heart of a teacher like Dre, you'll be fine. But in my experience, there's a lot of I've watched one person do one advert and now I'm a Facebook ads expert, to the point where I've seen digital agencies advocating what used to be boosting post, and it's just wrong. It's just making a donation to Zuckerberg and he doesn't need anything with your money. So go in and use it. I think if you think about it, you know how when you're scrolling through Facebook or going through Instagram and something pops up in your feed and you're like, oh my God, it's like the internet's watching me. That's what this stuff is. It's because you've been somewhere else or you've expressed it, interest in something that's related to that business, and now Facebook's serving you up those ads off the basis of this pixel data that they've collected. So spend some time doing it. It is a pretty mind-blowing, there's just so much you can do, I guess, so many options.
So if any of you get stuck with any of these things, literally Google it. Like, how do I add someone to my business manager? How do I set up aggregated events? And like Facebook's got all these super helpful pages that literally have all the links and kind of like walk you through. But to be honest, guys, like most ad agencies at the moment aren't really across this 100%. So you have to be super careful. But it's better to know how it works yourself before you jump into these conversations with other people as well, just to make sure that they do really know their shit, because there's a lot of people that don't. And to be honest, guys, like I've as an example, 2 weeks ago, I was meeting with a potential new client and they had some big shot from such and such who had run their ads for them. And there was so much wrong. So don't trust anything. Talk to them and get them to do a screen share with you and show you what they're doing to kind of make the decision whether they're going to be good for you and actually know their shit, because there's a lot of areas that have changed now, and a lot of the newer players especially aren't really across this. So if you understand it yourself, that's perfect, because once you've got it understood and set up yourself, then if someone else takes over, it's kind of like easier to kind of track how things are going. So it's a lot harder now than it used to be. Like before the Apple updates, you used to just create a custom conversion and launch it straight away. But now you have to set it up to do domains and stuff like that. But then once you do that, it's done. And literally every time you set up a new custom conversion, which shouldn't be too often, it hopefully won't take too long. Okay, so does anyone else have any other questions around that? And then I'll jump into some examples of campaigns and stuff you guys can set up for yourselves and your businesses. I know it's a lot, but luckily you've got the recording too. So literally just watch the recording, follow the steps, kind of like write them down, and then you should be able to like get through it yourself. But it is tricky. Like I'm training people who are working at advertising agencies at the moment, and even they're having trouble with all this stuff. Okay. Right, so one of the things I want to show you guys is something quick and dirty that is super, super cool at the moment. Just going to cancel this and get rid of my draft. Don't like leaving drafts that are unpublished. Okay. So no matter what business you guys are in, you should be doing some lead gen stuff. So using the lovely Sarah Greener as an example, I'm going to show you guys how to do a really, really quick lead generation campaign that works really, really well for whatever your business is.
I set this one up. I was really proud.
Yes, you did.
And then Dre fixed it.
Yeah, I fixed it. I still need to keep fixing it, but so you did do it by yourself.
Funny.
So literally, guys, what the concept is basically doing a giveaway that goes on the 30th of every month that you kind of keep advertising. So basically on the 30th of the month, we're going to give away like a bunch of flowers worth $100. So it needs to be like something that's high value but low cost to you as well. And literally you run like a lead generation campaign that's talking about this giveaway. And then ideally people will be opting in on Facebook lead forms or Messenger to get entered in the draw. And the reason that it's better to do it on Messenger or lead forms than your own website is because there's no friction at all. People don't have to click across and wait for your website to load. They can literally enter all their details on Facebook. And then most times Facebook will auto enter their details. So you can see exactly, there's just no friction. It's really fast, and it's like the best and quickest way to get leads. Right, so Sarah set this up yesterday, and so far she's got 7 leads for 21 cents, which is pretty cool.
I've actually got 11. They didn't count them all, but
I don't know.
Yeah, I've got 11 in my
Oh no, because I'm only up to the 1st of September. There we go.
There you go.
Oh, we've got 16.
Yeah, this morning I had 11.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So 17 cents for a lead, yes, please. And that's a qualified lead too. Okay. Actually, it might not be that qualified. It's Northland, Auckland, and Waikato, 35 plus. So Sarah, I increased the age range here for you, just so that you know. Okay, so just a quick walkthrough of how this works. So basically, you decide what your giveaway is going to be called, like marketing, training course, or bunch of flowers, or for you coaches and consultants, like literally give away like a day of training or something like that.
And like
so the objective
don't have those giveaway things. Sorry, sorry, Dre. But I'm just thinking there's some people that you can give away something that's local to you. Like I know there's someone in here that's real estate, someone who's lawyer. If you haven't got something of value you can give away, you could give away something, local cafe or something like that.
Absolutely. But it's also quite good to give away something that's part of your business, like, for example, something that you usually pay for, and that kind of helps to promote you and get you out there as well. Okay, so the objective in this campaign is lead generation. So that's there. And so what Sarah's done is jumped in and set it up as Facebook lead forms, but I've got a better idea, so I'm just going to tweak that and you guys can watch me do this on the fly. So basically what works better than Facebook lead forms is Messenger. And the reason Messenger works so well is if you're generating leads on Messenger, then it goes to the back end of your page, like your Facebook lead center, but also allows you to message any of these people via Messenger at all. And so these days, Messenger is actually a really, really good route to upsell people, get people further into your funnel, like get people onto your high ticket item as well. So like all the top coaches and consultants at the moment are like smashing Messenger hard because it's a really easy way to touch base with people and kind of like see where they're at and kind of take them from Messenger conversation to conversion. So Messenger is really, really big at the moment. Okay, so here we wanted to make it super broad to start with. And so Northland, Auckland, Waikato, people aged 35 plus. And the reason we say 35 plus is because they've got money. So essentially this is kind of like a traffic campaign for Sarah. So she's putting stuff out here now, creating a little bit of a buzz. And then once we find out when Auckland's going to open again and Northland's going to open again, and she can do cruises again, then she'll turn on the rest of her ads. But this kind of has something running just in the background. So she's getting a little bit of buzz and a bit of excitement. So basically the first thing you have to choose is your Facebook page. And so the only thing you guys need for a campaign like this is a privacy policy page. So hopefully all of you guys have got that. And if you haven't, you can easily find a template online and create your own privacy policy page, because that's also another thing that you can have that's keeping Facebook happy. If Facebook sees that you've got a privacy policy page on your website, they're much more happy to send traffic there, and you're going to have less chances of getting ads rejected and stuff. Okay. So what we wanted to do was have it be for automated chat instead of instant forms, but I can't edit that. So what I'm going to do here is just, if you can't edit something, then you can duplicate it and then edit it before it's published again. So I'm going to go into the exact same campaign. I just want Sarah to be on Messenger because I know it's going to be more useful, because she's already had ads before that have been messaging people from her page. So having everything in Messenger is going to give her more opportunities in the back end. Okay, so here I just duplicated this entire thing, which is like a carbon copy of that. And so now I'm going for automated chat instead of the instant forms. And so Sarah does have some pretty smart optimization on. She's got reach potential travelers first, which is a special button that she's got from Facebook for being awesome, because not many people have this button, especially in the tourism space.
I've got it turned off at the moment because no one's potential travelers.
No, it's turned on here.
Yeah.
They'll travel again. They'll travel again. Okay. Right. So leads is the optimization. And then we go click off here and then go into the ads to set up like the messenger flow. And I'll show you how this looks. Okay. So we've got ads and giving me error because we need to set them up with a flow in there. And so this is your chance to do like a really cool, quick little messenger bot, which is quite neat, because before to do a messenger bot, you'd have to have like a third-party platform like ManyChat that plugs into Facebook and then jump on that and create your bots. But now you can just do it through here, which is really cool. Okay, so usually single image or a video is fine for ads like this. And so it's coming up with some different options because we've got a couple of different options. We have the original ad that Sarah did, and then Andrej's improved ad.
No, I was feeling good about myself, Dre, this morning, and then you destroyed me.
You did a good effort. I just made it better.
I hope so.
That's my job. Okay. So absolutely. Well, I'm testing it. So like if it doesn't win, your one's still going to. Okay. So that's the other thing I need to talk to you guys about. Like always be testing. Like literally you put up an ad and then you put up another one with a different headline or another one with a different message or another one with a different image. And literally you're always testing with a Facebook process. You can't ever just put up one ad and one campaign to one audience and it's a done deal. Like you've constantly got to be looking at the data and refining and improving. Because if you're not, then literally maybe that's working now, but guaranteed in 90 days it won't be working anymore. So you always have to be testing and always up to date with what's going on, what's working, what's not, changing strategies, changing ads, so on and so forth for the best value to happen. Okay, so we've already got an existing lead form that Sarah set up, cruise giveaway monthly, and so I'm just going to convert that to chat.
Version 1. Yeah, version 1. Yeah.
Version 1.
Yeah, okay. Because the other one was wrong.
Okay. Okay. You're straight in for the kill. So I'm going to change it a bit. So you can put cool personalizations in here. So we're going to put their first name so they don't feel like Sarah's just kind of launching in here looking for the sign up.
That was automated. That's what my post
said.
I
know. Can we go as Captain Johnny here? Because I signed off the second ad as Captain Johnny.
Did you?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not a captain, I'm a skipper.
But Skipper Johnny doesn't sound as cool as Captain Johnny.
Does it? No, it's not got the marketing spin on it.
Okay. So you guys, if you put a bit of personalization in here, it kind of makes it seem more human. Because what we have to remember with our advertising efforts is the more human you can make your ads, the better, and the better people are going to respond to them. Because people like doing business with other people. They don't like doing business with big faceless corporations. Okay. So, hey, Andrej. So whatever that's the personalization. That's Captain Johnny here. Would you like to, let me just say want to, win a Bay of Islands cruise valued at $138? Okay. Then we'll just go simply sign up below. Just go leave your details below. And be in the draw to win a cruise in the stunning Bay of Islands. So always use those power words if you can. Discover, stunning, amazing, fabulous, stuff like that. You kind of have to not essentially talk it up, but make it sound good, reflects it is cool. The better those is going to work too. Okay. So hi, Andrej, it's Captain Johnny here. Want to win a Bay of Islands cruise valued at $138? Simply leave your details below to be in the draw. Okay. Actually, we'll just get rid of that. On the 30th of each month. To be in the draw to win a cruise in the stunning Bay of Islands on the 30th of each month. Drawn on the 30th of each month. Okay.
So quick question, do we need to A/B test every ad?
Yep. Unless you're sure that you've nailed it, which you're never sure. But yeah, you do. Like to be honest, guys, I'm almost always testing at least. Doesn't mean you have to go in there every day and create a new one, but literally you need to be testing like images with everything else the same, headlines with everything else the same, ad copy with everything else the same, like even strategy and conversion techniques and stuff like that. You should always be testing. Okay, right. So there you go. We're going to put a bit of personalization in there, smiley face, and then want to win it a Bay of Islands cruise. Okay, to make this look even cooler, guys, let me just show you this. So there's this really cool little tool called Yay Text that you can just paste stuff into, and like you can bold and italicize and have it look really cool. Because at the moment on Facebook, this stuff all comes out really nicely, and it kind of just makes it look a bit more interesting and a bit more cool. Okay, so I'll put it in italics and then put it back in here. Whoops, there. So there you go. It looks a little bit different, looks a bit cool, because essentially what you want to do is like draw the eye down and get people reading it. Okay, so questions. So what's your email address? Do you want their phone numbers or anything, Sarah? That's a bit too cheeky, isn't it?
Nah, we don't need it for the rock.
Okay, in that case, we should ask a custom question, which would be, are you interested in going on an adventure cruise in the Bay of Islands? If they say no, then they can't opt in. If they say yes, then there's a way of making sure that we don't have any tire kickers coming into the flow. Like if we're just getting random people who aren't actually interested, like kind of opting in, that's not what we want. And so basically the options are, if they say yes, they go to the next question. And if they say no, they get disqualified. So essentially that means they're not a good lead. And so that's why Messenger is really cool, because you can do this stuff and you can kind of like qualify your leads and ask them more questions. And because it's on Messenger, everything just pops up. So that's going to be the first question. So basically it starts with the welcome message, which is, hey, Andrej, it's Captain Johnny here. Want to win a Bay of Islands cruise vote at 138. Simply leave your details below to be in the draw. Okay. And then the first question is, are you interested in going on an adventure cruise in the Bay of Islands? If they're not, then they can go away and we don't want them. But if they're yes, then the next question, which is email address. Okay. And then that's it. That's all we're asking. You can, like, for example, ask for phone numbers and stuff like that if you want to, but we just want email address. We want to grow this business as quickly as possible. So we're just asking for email address. Okay.
And it will automatically fill first name, last name off Facebook, right?
Yeah, but also because it's Messenger, like anyone, like you've already got their first name and last name, which is cool. So lead form, you need them to enter there, but because it's Messenger, that shows you who's Messenger. So like they've literally got all their names and stuff on there. Okay, and then completion message is, thanks. You're in the draw. Okay, we'll do another little emoji. And spelling. There's no spell check in this too, so just be aware.
Grammarly.
Okay. Yeah, Grammarly, exactly.
But it's getting away is the only problem with it.
Yeah. So thanks, you're in the drawer. And like literally, if you can talk to them personally and use their first name, like it's much more affinity, right? They already feel like you kind of know people. And that's why we said it's Captain Johnny, because it's kind of like the human touch in the business here. Okay.
That's that whole psychology piece. I talk about that a lot. So my clients that are in here will have heard me talk lots about it. On The Rock, we use people's first names because now you're friends.
Exactly.
Right? But it doesn't feel transactional anymore. When they say ma'am and sir and all that stuff, it just means they didn't bother to get to know you. And it's the same on here. We've got tools to talk to them to their first name. People, immediately it breaks down barriers. It reduces the friction to get to the sale.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to see a really slick process of how to treat your customers and make them feel amazing, go on one of Sarah's cruises on The Rock. Like literally, like you'll feel like part of the family, because Sarah and Johnny and Scarlett too have spent a lot of time trying to develop protocols and systems that make people feel really, really happy, that breaks the ice and stuff like that. So people come away from these adventure cruises like feeling like they're part of the family and just being in love with it. And that is so easy to do, yet not enough businesses are doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So here's what happens at the end. So basically we're like, cool, thanks for opting in. You want to see what you get a chance to win? Check out below. So literally we put a little call to action text. So literally you can choose what button it is. No button, download, view website. But we're choosing view website. And then check out. Whoa. Whoops, wrong button, guys.
You broke it.
I did break it. Okay, call to action text. See our fabulous cruises. And so people will click on the button there. And so disqualification messages literally thanks, but it doesn't look like we're a good fit at this time.
So I've got a couple more questions coming in from over on Facebook. We're very quiet here in the Zoom room. They're all clearly listening intently. Cool. So you grow your email list through this ad? Yes, is the answer to that one, Rena. Do they still need to confirm their email when The Rock adds them to the list? So if you're using, well, I don't even know what they call it, like a double opt-in, yes. You will need to...
Shouldn't use one though.
Shouldn't use one.
Should choose Sarah. No. Single opt-in is going to be way better. Yeah. As long as it's all legit, single opt-in, just stick with that. Double opt-in is clunky. And most times you lose the person if they have to do it again. So try not to do it. You don't actually need to do it.
There's no legal requirement for it, eh?
Yeah.
So and so we just add them to the list. Now this won't automatically add it to your list in your MailChimp or whatever CRM you're using. You will have to set that up so that it puts it into whatever you're using. We use Kartra, we've used Infusionsoft, ActiveCampaign, there's lots of them. So you just have to do the little connection piece in the background. Sometimes you use Zapier. Some of the CRMs have got a direct integration with Facebook now, which makes life so much easier. So if you're one of those, win for you. But yeah. And then her last question is, do these leads go straight to your email list? Yes, they do. With The Rock, we're not emailing them once a week, because she said, will you email them once a week? They go into Sarah Greener, you get an email every 3 days. At The Rock, we're not emailing once a week at the moment, and that's purely just because of the environment we're operating in. It's too much. So pick and choose. For Rena, I would be emailing them at least once a week at the moment. They're all sitting at home shopping. They're your people right now. They can't do anything else. So versus like for us, we can't actually cruise until later. So we're really pushing people to fill up our empty spots in our empty times. So it just depends on the business. But yes, at the very least a monthly email. But I would like you to do more often than that.
Yeah, exactly, guys. I agree with that 100%. Like basically you've got Facebook, that's just one channel, but email is this other so badly underutilized channel. So basically people are seeing ads, they should have emails coming in too, because the email keeps you top of mind. Because oftentimes like you see someone's email and then you jump onto Facebook and see like the appropriate ad from them. So it's a way of being across multiple channels at once and makes people think you're famous. So
And not only that, like it used to be when we started, and this makes me feel really old, but like when we started in The Rock, it used to be that people saw us 3 times. Like someone would tell them about us, they'd pick up a brochure and then they would book, basically. Now it's like 20 something times. And that's because our attention span is so short. You've got to be in their face and using all these tools all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So exactly what Sarah's saying is absolutely correct. About 5 years ago or 10 years ago, it would be like 3 touch points, but now it's sort of like 10 plus. So the more stuff you've got going on, the better, and it's all going to eventually result in sales and stuff like this. So just to show you guys this ad that I improved on. So headline, win an amazing cruise in the Bow Islands, little hand pointing to the sign up.
That's what I said. I said that one. That was me.
So win $138 day cruise. I put day cruise in there, Sarah, because you need to be specific about that. Aboard the Rock, packed full of kayaking, snorkeling, and fishing gear. Explore the Bow Islands aboard New Zealand's biggest houseboat. So this is just taking what Sarah had, but simply enter your details below by clicking Get Offer, and the winners will be drawn. So we've got a little video there, which is literally just a simple little slideshow video. So easy to set up on Facebook and kind of just shows people lots of different scenes. So there we go. And then also the good old static image. Like usually static images actually work better. So again, we just used a bit of bolding here.
Why do you make me do so many videos then?
You, because you come across really well.
Do me a lot of videos. Make me do a lot of videos.
But okay, disclaimer, guys. Disclaimer is that usually if you're a coach or consultant or the business is about you and the services you deliver, having videos of you, people get a feel for how you're coming across, they get a feel for how much knowledge you have, and so it gains you trust more. But businesses like this, like the Rock Cruises and stuff, we don't need to do as much videos unless they convert better. So again, it comes back to testing and measuring. Like a video is converting better than static images. If they are, do more videos. If they're not, go back to more static images. Anyway.
Yeah. So Amy, that would be for you. Videos would be good for you in your space. And does Dre do a service where I do the ads and he checks them? That's a good question.
Yeah, I can do. I do have yeah, absolutely. If you want to talk to me about that, friend me on Facebook and flick me a message and we can talk about that. That is something I'm starting to do more as opposed to just done for you stuff, like actually coaching people, because then they actually learn stuff.
I will connect you.
Cool.
If anybody else wants that, let me know and I will do a 3-way group chat and then jump out of it so that you are connected with Dre online.
Okay, quick, because I'm so busy at the moment. Right. Okay, so we literally turn off the instant forms ad and just have the automated chat audience going there. Okay, so literally it's just, and then how much do you want to spend a day on this, Sarah? Like how much have we got?
I had in there like $3 a day. We don't have anything. It's negative at the moment, mate. It's all gone out.
All right, keep it at $3 a day then.
We can ramp it up when we know when we're going to get some business coming back in.
Fickle.
You don't have to spend a lot, guys.
Decision.
You do not.
No, you don't.
This is $90 a month there.
Yeah.
And if I got 16
so she's had that running literally. Well, Sarah's only spent $2.75 already, guys, but she's got 16 leads for a business. So that's a smart decision.
Yeah.
Okay. So what shall I talk about now? Can I show you guys some different strategies, or do you want me to kind of like talk about the different funnels for e-commerce versus coaches and consultants?
Don't think you've got any coaches and consultants in here. The only thing similar would, we've got early childhood, I've got engineering, real estate, got online retail, but also like wholesale retail as well. Who else?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I can just quickly riff about different funnels people can set up for a while, and then I'll open it up to questions, because I think you guys will probably get a lot more out of that because there's so much. So essentially, your ad funnel is a multi-step thing that's going on inside your Facebook account. So generally what happens is at the top of funnel, we're advertising to cold audiences, people that don't know us, haven't engaged with us before, haven't even seen us before. And then we're giving them something to take them to the next level. Because the ultimate game is to have enough people that have visited your website in the last 90 days or engaged with you in the last 90 days to retarget them with something. So if they haven't bought from you straight off the bat, you give them a special offer when you come back to them. So for example, if you're an e-commerce business, what I do is at the top of funnel to cold audiences, it's kind of like blue sky ads. It's kind of like, hey, check out our business. We make outdoor skincare that's made of New Zealand native botanicals. It's really amazing. You're going to love it. And so kind of like showing them ads for different products and stuff like that. And so
can I ask there, is that to everyone, or like you'll see with ours, you've gone over 35 because they've got money, or is that to everyone who's your ideal client? Like what's the...
Bloody good question, Sarah. So that is literally to your ideal avatar. Okay. So in the Rock, we know that it's people who are in Auckland, people in Waikato, or potentially people in Northland over 35 because they've got money to spend. If you are a real estate business, you'll be looking for people maybe interested in investment properties, searching for houses at the moment, people who like domain.com.au or something like that. So whatever your avatar is, like for example, for me on Saltwater Aquarium Advice, I've got one main audience that I started with. So people are interested in marine aquariums, reef tanks, and saltwater aquariums. So that's where most of my ads go. But then over time, once I have more people visiting my page, I say, okay, Facebook, here's a custom audience of everyone who's visited my website in the last 90 days. I want you to create me a lookalike audience. So what Facebook does is finds those people who have done that thing, and then finds you like the top 1% or 2% or 3% of New Zealand or US or wherever that looks like those people. And so that's really powerful now. So that is literally the algorithm to find more people like your existing clients. So all of you guys should have like an email list of your existing clients, ideally paid clients, upload that into custom audiences on Facebook and create some lookalikes off that. So I usually go, this custom audience, I want to create 3 lookalikes. So 1%, 1% to 2%, 2% to 3%, and treat them all like different audiences. So generally speaking, when I run an ad campaign, I'll have one campaign. Within that campaign, I've got 4 different audiences running at once. And within those audiences, at least 4 different ads. Okay. So I'm always testing new audiences and I'm always testing new ads. At the same time as looking at the results. And if it's not working, pivoting at the top, so on and so forth, all the way down the funnel. So the best thing to do is put stuff out at the top of funnel to a cold audience and try and get them to buy off the bat. Or for example, if you're a coach or consultant, like using lead magnets, giveaways and stuff like that to get them into your funnel, and then retargeting them. So when you retarget, they've already been to your website. You've already asked them to take the action. They haven't done it. You've already asked them to opt in or buy this and they haven't for whatever reason. So you have to come back to them with a new offer. Like you have to overcome their objections. Usually the number one objection is going to be price. So for example, e-commerce businesses, I say, okay, can we do like a take 10 coupon code, which gives people 10% off or $10 off or whatever you can do, even if it means putting your prices up a wee bit to get that discount and have it work. It works amazingly. So basically, people have already visited your website, and then they see an ad that says, "Hey, come on, you've already visited our website. Come on back, get an extra 10% off today." People are like, "Shit, that's awesome. Bye."
What's really interesting about this, so we did this with The Rock over the summer, and I was really I'm really anti discounting our product, and we did it, and we sold so much off the back of this retargeting ad with a get 10% off, and I think of all the people, 3 used the coupon code.
Yeah,
they all paid full price. Most people didn't use it. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, which is cool, right? So basically, you kind of dangle the carrot on the stick, and then it's up to them whether they implement it. And that's true, exactly what Sarah says. Mostly people don't use that coupon code. Literally, it works and they can use it, but they're so excited once they get to the website and get so carried away with choosing what they really want. It's just getting them to the website in the first place.
And I've got another question on Facebook. Do you recommend getting leads rather than shop now for, and this is products, so this is selling physical things?
No, you need to make money the fastest way possible. So what I recommend, maybe use 70% of your budget to sell product and maybe like 10% or something like that to get leads too, okay? So basically selling product is the most important thing, but also is getting leads, because remember, if you're getting leads, it's kind of like people need to be kicking around in your funnel for a wee bit longer before they decide to buy. So primarily have it focused on selling products, but do a little bit of lead gen at the same time.
Cool.
Okay. And so also just to give you an indication about this whole funnel, right? So 75% of our budget is spent at the top of the funnel on cold audiences that don't know us. And then 25 to 30% is for the retargeting. Okay. So if you kind of do the same budget, you're going to blow up your retargeting audience and smash people with ads too much. But the maximum frequency you want them to see your ads is literally about 11 times within any 30-day period. Okay, so it has to be funnel shaped.
Can you set that in?
Yeah.
And if ads managers say, I don't want any one person to see more than 11 of my ads.
Yeah.
Across all of them.
Absolutely. So I check it for all my accounts, I literally jump in, look at the last 30 days and manually look at the frequency, like you guys about to see here, like the frequency is 1.1 for this, 2.8, so on and so forth. And so for the retargeting, so that is probably quite high for a lifetime, but over 30 days, that will still be quite low and quite reasonable. So I'm always checking that, because once people start seeing your ads too much, they get blinkers on, they get annoyed, they start complaining, stuff like that, and it just doesn't work. So don't smash them with retargeting ads. Just kind of like feed it out gradually.
Yeah, and I'm conscious people are sitting here looking at the Rocks ads and our cost per result and things like that. And some of our cost per result look really high, like hundreds of dollars. That's because we're selling thousands of dollars of private charter off the back of this. We're not selling $138 cruise. We're selling $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 and $15,000 charters off some of this stuff. I think our average, pre-COVID, before we started working with Dre, our average sale was about 900. It's in the thousands now. I have to go back and work it out, but it's shifted quite dramatically. So for those of you that are looking and going, oh my God, Sarah's spending $58 to get someone to add it to cart, but my product's only worth $30. Don't freak out. It's because we're getting them to add a $5,000 product to cart, not a $50 product.
Yeah, absolutely. So everything's like how much you're willing to pay per custom acquisition or whatever is all down to your average order value and down to how much your product costs and stuff like that. So
I think that's
generally I would say, yeah. So I think e-commerce should be at least like a kind of like 3 times return on ad spend, and if it's not 3 times, you have to keep building and improving that.
Cool. So I was just going to say, I think that's a really good conversation. So how do we know how much we should be spending in this social space based on what we're getting out of it? So I'm really a massive advocate of it. And we will say today that post-COVID, 80% of our new business in The Rock is coming off posts that people are seeing on our social, whether that be an advert or actual content creation, which we're going to talk about tomorrow with Bree. But how much should people be looking to spend in it's obviously different in different industries, but what sort of return on investment should we be getting off it? Like if I'm investing $10, should I get $100 back, or should I get $1,000 back? What does it look like?
It's kind of like how long is a piece of string, because literally every niche and every business is different. But basically, like, it's hard to say. Like, it really is hard to say, because some businesses will only be able to get like a certain return on ad spend. Some businesses won't. Like, some businesses can't ever get like a positive return on ad spend. So literally, that is a bloody hard question to answer. But pretty much, like, as you can see here, there's a whole lot of different campaigns that we've run for the Rock. So a whole lot of systems that got set up and tested and stuff like that. So we're always testing different strategy. And basically you kind of get to the point where you've got a line in the sand, and it's like, okay, well, it looks like it's costing us about $30 for a new customer. And so, and also you work it out from a business perspective, like how much can I afford to spend on that customer acquisition? Okay. And that's why I work with some pretty big companies who do stupid stuff like, oh, we're going to spend all our money on ads for products, but we're going to let Rightsons or Farmlands or something sell that product. So essentially we've got the qualified lead, and then it goes off out of your control, which is dumb. Like, you've got to be able to sell that product and service off your own website to get maximum value on that lead to someone else. So essentially you kind of just need to have a hard, fast and heavy look and see what those results are like. So then if you can kind of go, okay, well, in the last month, I spent, say, $1,500 on Facebook ads. How many sales did I get that? And literally you want to look month to month, like don't look week to week, because even week to week, Facebook ads are kind of just like this. And so when you do check on them, it's like the last 30 days compared to the last 30 days before that. Okay. And basically just have a look at the numbers and go, okay, well, how long am I going to give it before I get the cost per acquisition lower to like a reasonable number? How can I add value to my bottom end? Can I do like a high ticket item, like a big coaching program done with you or something like that? Or can I do bundles if I'm an e-commerce business? So how can I increase that average order value? Because that's the key. It's basically you tweak the ads to make it sell, but then you've also got to be testing pricing. Like, for example, when I first started selling my ebook that I wrote about saltwater aquariums back in 2007, it was for $27 US. And I was like, who the hell's going to pay that? Ran that, was making sales, happy as Larry. And then my mentor at the time said, test $37 US. And I was like, are you serious? Like, that's insane. Like, no one's going to do that. Because to start with, you don't believe in yourself and don't believe that you're worth that, right? And so literally as soon as I tested that, we were getting more sales at $37 than I was at $27. And both of those things are products that I built years ago and haven't had to do any work on to sell. So you always need to be testing your price, and always with your ads as well. It's all about perceived value. So if you can jazz it up by saying stunning Bay of Islands cruises, fabulous customer reviews and stuff like that, kind of just injecting that perceived value. So people are like, oh, this is awesome. Because ultimately using ads, it's easier to sell people on the benefits of your product or service if you write a good ad, and pricing is their last consideration.
Yeah.
So if you can sell them on the concept and the benefits and get them to want it, then they already want it, and the price is less of a consideration. And if it's not, then they're not your right customers.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I think with the Rock, it's been really easy for us to go, how much can we spend in Facebook? Because we paid 20% commission minimum to all our international agents. And so for everyone else here, you need to know what you're willing to spend, and then you can dial it up or down depending on how many sales are falling out the bottom end of it. And so you need to be able to track all of that. And that's what I love about this stuff, is there's no spray and pray anymore in marketing like we used to do, where like I'll pay for this advert in a magazine somewhere and hope someone spots it and uses it, versus this now I can see exactly where they came from and how they came from, because we're obviously tracking it in Google Analytics, and I can say that's where that came from. If we're taking the money over the phone, we can ask them questions and we can actually see where they've come through the funnel. Exactly. And we know we're spending way less than 20% doing this than we are, like to the point where we probably won't go back to the old model of working through wholesale agents from a travel point of view, because we don't need to, because we can get them direct.
Because really business is always filled up with middlemen as well. Like, for example, Airbnb, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
If you have an amazing website, you could get bookings off that website potentially. You know, so there's all these different ways of doing business to give yourself the best opportunity. But like if you look in here, so basically we're looking cost per Facebook lead, cost per virtual tour booking, cost per add to cart, cost per purchase, cost per event response. Those are those conversions that we want to measure. I'm not doing link clicks. I'm not doing landing page views. I'm not doing engagements, all that bloody airy fairy rubbish. I want the hard, fast and heavy numbers so that I know and I can make all my decisions based off how much it's exactly costing. And also Sarah knows as well from her back end.
Yeah, so the stuff that Dre was just talking about, those likes, those engagement, the reach, crap, those are just ego metrics. You do not need to think about them. Don't spend money on them. Spend money on the conversion part. Like, I've got your email address, or I've got your money, or I've got you, you've downloaded something where, you've got to convert, get something of value in return for the money that you've given Facebook, because they'll just keep taking your money. There's been times where I've had something running in the early days where I was like, Facebook's just taking my money. Went from being costing me $5 to $500 overnight.
Yeah.
So, really important. I've got a couple more Facebook questions.
Yep.
Can I just ask or say something? Because I have an early childhood centre. Well, I have 3 early childhood centres now, but I sort of feel like Facebook ads are like using a mallet to crush a peanut because it's, my audience is so geographically specific. It's not, and it's really a small sort of possible pool. So, I kind of look at all this and go, what possible use is it to me?
Well, then you geo-target with the advertising, right? So you basically say, okay, it's people within 10K's radius of this pinpoint dropped, So you're spending all your money based on that exact audience.
So you can get that granular with it.
That appearance.
You can get as granular as like 10 kilometre radius of anywhere in New Zealand. That's as granular as you can get. Yeah, so absolutely.
We do it when we've got beds to fill that are empty when the cruise is leaving at 4 o'clock, because those beds fall dead at that point. So we would go within, half an hour driving of Paihia, and we would location retarget people. Again, this was pre-COVID, but and it worked.
Yeah, absolutely. So for travel businesses like Sarah, generally when we create ads, we're like, okay, where are the nearest main centres that people are going to travel to this tourism destination? So usually you have these main centres, and then within that, these people like luxury travel and like kayaking or whatever like that. There's also another audience of people passing through. So they live somewhere else, but they're currently on holiday, so they're passing through. So you advertise to them. And then the other one is a really hardcore geo-fencing, where you kind of drop a pin on a map and say, okay, I want you to advertise 10 kilometres radius of that area. And so that's how you can get maximum bang for your buck for you, Kate. So instead of going New Zealand wide, which is a waste of money, just go, okay, well, I've got 3 centres here, here, and here. Here's a little radius, and kind of give people reasons why your childhood centre is the best, right?
Okay.
Why is it so awesome, and why is it better than your competitors, and why should they care, and why should they come?
Yeah, and you're not going to spend probably $27,000 doing it. Like you're probably going to spend. You're probably going to spend a couple of dollars a day, and get once your occupancy is at 100%, you're going to run something very gently in the background to just keep people on your waiting list, so that someone leaves, you bring someone in. So what you want to get to a place with using your Facebook advertising is where you're never empty. The moment that a child says they're giving notice to go, you're calling them on the wait list, right? They're just slotting straight in because they've watched you online, they know you, they trust you, and you're the only place they want to send their kids.
Okay. So another question, which is not specifically Facebook, but a lot of the stuff is like you were talking about videos and people being the face of their business. Now, Sarah knows where I'm going, but I don't provide the service. So is there any point in me like being the face of the business?
Good question. Like, is that something you want to do? Like, for example, you well,
sorry, those bit. Sarah makes me do videos, and I'm like,
why don't you go down and find your most like photogenic, vivacious teacher and say, I want you to do like a little quick 1-minute selfie video of some activities today, or you can pop down and you can do a video of what the kids are doing and stuff and have that as your content. So it's not you talking about your childcare centre. It's you showing why it's so awesome using like video and stuff like that. And just also to talk back to what Sarah and I were saying before about having engagement and likes and video views as your top of funnel stuff. Sometimes if you're starting from scratch, you have to do that. Okay. Yeah. So the disclaimer is, yeah. So basically the disclaimer is you're spending $5 a day on an engagement campaign, but if you cannot retarget those engagers and then make them buy, then there's no point.
Yeah. I haven't been spending any money on Facebook ads. This is just the general posting on the Facebook page to raise profile, I suppose. Yeah, awareness. Yeah.
So yeah, like if you can put out videos of yourself and then you find that, okay, everyone who watches 50% of that video is more likely to purchase from me, then keep doing that. And instead of like potentially going purchases or add to carts or whatever, try that as a strategy and kind of test it as well. Because always strategy is changing and there's always new stuff. Facebook's always coming up with new tools and tricks and stuff like that as well. So you always have to think of new ways to get people on board.
Thank you.
Got a couple of other questions. So do you recommend using an existing post that has good social proof, good engagement, and adding a shop now button? This again is a product.
Yep. If you can do that, and it's quite kind of tricky to do that. So
you seem to lose the engagement, don't you, when you turn it into
You do. You have to kind of like circumvent the process. So if you can get the post opened as a page post, so you can take the ad ID as the URL, you can actually stop advertising for it, then edit that post, and then hook it up to the ads again and add like a button, and it won't move any of that social proof. But pretty much to start with, probably not, because it's quite hard to do. Like it's quite an advanced strategy. So what I would do is literally take what it was in that post, make it like use the same elements, but this time add the call to action button in that headline, and then spend say $2 a day for a week having that, getting as much engagement as is possible to add that social proof back in. But you will find over time social proof does add up and does come into the equation. But yeah, like social proof is probably less important than it used to be a few years ago. Now it's just getting in front of people. So a few years ago, like unless you had like 45 likes on your ad, no one would care. But now it's a little bit different.
Yeah, and it was expensive to run them if you didn't get that engagement, but that doesn't seem to make them expensive now. So so forget about brand awareness, reach, and traffic. Yes, when you're small, on the assumption that you've got databases and things, that's yes, right?
Agreed. Yeah, and absolutely.
Focus on lead gen, messages, and conversion.
It just depends on what your business is.
Yeah,
exactly. So focus on leads. Like do what we just did with Sarah here. We made a little competition. We can get something free and people have to sign up via Messenger and then give you the details as well. Do that instead.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like a higher intent action than like a link click or an engagement or something like that. So you're kind of, because then also what you're doing is teaching the algorithm, we want people that go all the way through to the end. So then the algorithm learns and finds you more of those people as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then the other question was, how much of Facebook ads did I learn before I got Dre to do the work? 12, very long. No, they weren't doing ads. They haven't been doing ads for 14 years. How long have they been doing ads for? 10? 12? Yeah. All of those years before 2020. So Dre's been doing our ads for the last 19 months. You need to know enough to be able to ask good questions and hold them to account. It's the same thing I say about everything. If you can't ask good questions and know when someone's bullshitting you, don't outsource it, because you'll get ripped off. Especially in the marketing space, I can't stress this one enough. It is the space where people see small business owners coming and they see dollar signs light up in their eyes and they will take you for a ride. I've had it done with SEO. I've had it done with website builds, and I know my stuff and I still let people take me for a ride. So it's really important you understand this back end and how it works so that you can question whether they're doing the job.
Yeah. So also you want to read testimonials, you want to see case studies, you want to see results that they've generated.
Yeah.
And probably what is a good idea, if you find someone who you think is going to be really good, it's like, okay, let's do a Zoom call. I'm going to share my account with you and I want you to talk me through what you're going to do and why you do it. Okay. So someone's looking at all your assets and trying to sell you on the fact that they can improve on those results. They're going to be telling you why on that call. Okay. So basically you want them to prove themselves.
Yeah. Does Dre have a course where he teaches this? Look, I couldn't have scripted this stuff better, Dre, for you.
I'm actually just building one out at the moment. So basically, since the Apple updates have come into play, all my previous resources that I used before then are sort of outdated. And so I've still got like another 15 videos to do. So Sarah keeps telling me, just put it up with the one video. But I wanted to get it all sorted first. So within the next couple of weeks, I will. Yes, I will. And it will be all post Apple update stuff. So it'll be like the newest stuff.
I will let you know when it goes live, because I'm clearly a big Dre fanatic, because I knew my stuff and I had met with so many people to hand this stuff off and they all didn't have a clue. So Dre's been the first person I've been comfortable to hand it over after a decade of doing it myself. And every time I spoke to these people, I was like, I know better, and I'm just some hick in pie here sitting in my office working it out so that I can, advertise the restaurant or advertise the boat or advertise, the travel business. And it just takes time. Everyone says, oh, you're good at it. And I said, yeah, because I've spent thousands of hours learning this stuff. And so I know it. But every time you learn it, they update it. I'm sure they do it on purpose. So understanding that, I think, like Dre says, he's got to update all his stuff. You've got to stay on top of it all the time. You won't learn it once and then it'll be done.
Yeah. And then like even like before, like Sarah gave me the keys to the kingdom, so to speak. Like we met up for coffee and she brought her computer and it's like spent like an hour like looking at her account and grilling me and asking me about this and this. And she was listening to all my responses and, oh, we could try this and this. And then so therefore after that time, she's like, okay, he knows his shit, right? Whereas if someone doesn't know their shit, then you just do it. Because Sarah was doing a pretty good job.
Oh, it's better now. It's way better now. Yeah. It's the I don't want to spend, and again, you guys all know this about me, I don't want to spend hundreds of hours in here doing this. Dre spends all day in here doing this, so he doesn't need to spend all day on my account because he's already seen it on 20 other accounts today, and so he can just change it and do it quickly, easier. So for me, once I understood it enough, now it was about outsourcing it to Dre, because I put that ad up yesterday. I spent all day yesterday doing some lead generation stuff for Sarah Greener, so building out the back end pages and things, and doing these ads just about in between my coaching calls, and that took my whole day out, and I'm like, I'm just not interested in that. So I've got to a place where I don't want to be doing this all the time.
Yeah. And that's it. Like you've got to be at the coalface, like making the sales and talking to the clients and doing your best thing, doing the best thing for your business. And that's what
we're the highest valuers. Yeah, Ames. My sister's just said, like, you outsource the cooking to Johnny, Sarah? Yes, I do. In fact, we outsourced it even better pre-COVID, and then COVID took away our au pair, which was highly inconvenient. And then we don't have those anymore. Damn it. So yeah, really, really important about understanding it first.
It's all an experiment. Everything's an experiment, guys. Even for me, when I jump onto accounts, I'm like, oh, I'll try this first and then look at the results and then try that first. So literally the data is your friend and the results are your lover, essentially, I suppose, to put it in a strangely eloquent way. Yeah, so basically, you need to look at the results, see what's happening, and then, but like the data kind of points you in the right direction. So for example, jump into an ad and it's like, this ad it looks cool, but this ad is not so cool. What's the difference? And like that click-through rate to link percentage, the one with a higher percentage is your winner, and also lower cost per link. So there's all these little metrics, and that's a conversation for another day, that you can use to test stuff, but literally always test and experiment all the time.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I want just last call for any questions before Dre goes. Anyone in here in the Zoom room? Anyone on Facebook got questions? Try and keep an eye on them as they go through. I think there's a bit of a lag between the two, but because I want to be respectful of Dre's time, because he's given up so much of his time to hang out with us today.
I love
and
it.
The fun with internet hung in there. There are a few robot-y moments, but mostly it was good until Elon gets his SpaceX. Is it SpaceX? What does he call it?
Yeah, it is.
SpaceX. Broadband to you. So awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I will definitely be sharing with my whole tribe your course when it goes live before the middle of September, because you just all heard it here where he said he was going to do that, so that you can all get in there. It's definitely of value having someone you can trust who's not going to take your money and run. And Dre is that guy. If you ever have any questions, he's super, super helpful. And I will drop Dre's group inside this group so that you guys can join up to that if that makes sense. It's mostly focused on e-commerce. Is that fair, Dre?
Well, it's actually been...
Keeps moving, eh?
No, yeah, no. It's basically people who advertise wanting results in their ads. So it was e-commerce to start with, and I've got so much coach and consultants, so that now basically it's a combination of getting the best return for ads. So anyone who's running their own ads, essentially, it's for you.
Cool. Awesome. And I think the other thing is, like, sometimes people go, oh, I'm not a coach or consultant, or I'm not in e-commerce, so I shouldn't. The reason I got really good at this was because people weren't doing it in tourism. And what I used to do was go and rip off whatever they were doing in an environment that was using Facebook ads really, really well. I would go and find their industry and I'd go, how can I apply that to my industry? So for those of you that are in here going, oh, maybe it's not for me, taking the strategies that Dre is talking about inside that group to your industry, whether that be early childhood or real estate, or, sorry, Antoinette, I missed you before, health coaching, or, selling those things, you can do those as well, which is super, super valuable.
Absolutely. And also just to add to that, I think New Zealand is quite behind the 8 ball when it comes to Facebook advertising. Like all my clients in the US and the UK, like everyone's been smashing it so hard for years, and New Zealand's only starting to catch up to that. So there's literally all these little strategies you can implement right now that are going to put you above your competition and what your competition's not doing. And just to finish off on if you go to Facebook ads library, like Google Facebook ads library, and then enter in your competitor's page and see what they're doing. Or enter in some famous brand that you want to emulate and see what type of ads they're doing. And then basically kind of like paraphrase the ad copy, the headline, and choose images similar to that. So essentially, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. And like, to be honest, it's taken me 10 years to learn the skill of copywriting, which is super valuable for ads and stuff. Like, I always write my own ads. But you don't need to. You can literally just fast track yourself by finding someone who you know super successful and doing super well, and literally essentially just copying what their templates are, making them your own.
And then yeah, absolutely. And my one last point will be, if you are not posting consistently on Facebook or Instagram, wherever you're going to do your advertising, you shouldn't be advertising. If I come to your page after you've sent me an ad and you haven't posted on your page since 2018, I ain't buying. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow with Bree, because Dre doesn't want to write your content. But Bree loves to write content. So we're going to talk about that with her tomorrow and how we can quickly and easily create content, batch it, and start layering it up for people. So really important that you are consistently posting in these places in the free realm before you start giving Zucks more of your money, because it's more expensive if you're not engaging in the platform and feeding the beast and giving it what it needs. Doesn't have to be every day, but it does need to be consistent.
And also, just to talk to that too, like the more organic stuff you do, the cheaper your ad costs are going to be, because your army of engagers will be bigger because it's organic stuff. And also, organic is a really good way to test your messages. And if it works really well as an organic post, it's probably going to work really well as an ad too. And literally, all I can say to you about that is if you do 2 Facebook Lives a week, it will change the world. Like seriously, you'll get so much more people to your page. Facebook will start suggesting your page to everyone else. Like 2 relevant, interesting lives per week will absolutely change your world.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Hey, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to share those links with you all in the group so that you've got access to Dre going forward. I think he's a rock star. He's told you he's going to have his course ready for you by the middle of the month. No pressure, Andrej. And I just want to thank you so much for coming along and sharing all that. It's been super helpful for everyone to hear it from the guru themselves rather than from me making it up.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. And so, like literally, guys, get in there, get stuck in, but above all, listen to Sarah. Like she cuts through all the crap. Like she tells you where you need to be. I think everyone needs a Sarah in their life. So stick with this girl and you're away.
Awesome. Thanks, Dre.
All right, team.
All right, team. I better let you go. And I know Dre's got another coaching call. So take care, everyone. And if you're interested in content tomorrow, 10 a.m. back here. See you, team.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.